Welcome back to Sitting with Omola. Last week we left it at the types of communication style, and yes, like I said, we're discussing communication this month. Please don't forget that. So moving on to the types of communication styles, I'd like to state that there are 4 workplace communication styles. 1 is passive, 2 aggressive, 3 passive-aggressive, and 4 assertive. Now, these 4 are the different types of communication styles. So I'll dive into it right now. Now, for the very first one, which is the passive communication style, how do you spot an individual with this communication style? Well, they are mostly indifferent, and of course, they avoid stating their opinions when matters or issues of conflict arise. These are individuals who would rather keep to themselves about how they're feeling and how they feel treated by the others. And of course, these are individuals who are, I must say, great listeners. So they would rather you vent out your problems to them than talk about the frustrations that they themselves are facing. Mostly, they are those individuals that we think are peaceful, or should I say, we see as peaceful. They keep the balance. Yes, I like to say their catchphrase is, I just want to keep the peace. So they are individuals like that. Now, the downside to having that communication style is that there's a tendency to have built up resentment over time, and this is simply because they don't express how they feel. And of course, they have the tendency to work late hours and end up exhausted. However, that's who the passive communicator is. Now, moving on to the aggressive communicator. Spot on, they are opinionated, and the individuals who would rather say what they feel, irrespective of how they think it will hurt the other person. Yeah, there are times that they can be very loud and demanding, and of course, they have the tendency to blame others for their mistakes. So it's almost like they don't necessarily want to take responsibility. I can say most of our bosses are like that, but I didn't say anything. I just stated some few examples and probably an assumption. However, I would like to say that the person with the aggressive communication style also, when controlled, can make out to become, or should I say, can become a great leader. And the reason is simply because people have a tendency to follow them. Why? Because they are so confident and so bold about their thoughts. Moving on to the third person, or shall I say the third communication style, which is the passive-aggressive. Now, the passive-aggressive are people that don't necessarily talk about how they feel also. However, they communicate using body languages. You'll be so surprised that these individuals, they have the tendency to put up a face that doesn't necessarily say what they are thinking. So they're all kind of like, they gave me a blank look. I couldn't tell if it was okay with it, or if she was good with what I was saying, and all this. So those are those who are passive-aggressive. But there's a way to get them. They have a tendency to murmur about things. So they're kind of people that they won't say it to your face, but then you're like, they're just saying something, but you're just like, there's something. Well, you can't just get that something. So those are the passive-aggressive communicators in the workplace. Down to the very last communication style, which is the assertive communication style. Well, for the assertive communication style, yes, they state their needs. They tell you what they think. However, they are very conscious of others. So they are very inclusive, if I must say. They are the individuals in the workplace that you see them probably addressing issues that doesn't really have to do with them. The idea is that there is a win-win situation. The other person is not cheated. So take for instance, you have a situation whereby maybe someone is being abused or something. You'll be so surprised that the assertive communicator could just come in and say, oh no, I think what she is trying to say is this, And most of them, for them, they are solution oriented. So they don't necessarily dwell on the problem. They would just rather come up and say, please, how do we resolve this such that everyone wins? And that's the beautiful thing about the assertive communicator. They don't necessarily think about themselves all the time. Yes, they are assertive. They say what they have to say. They are firm about their beliefs. They communicate their needs. However, they are very conscious of their own person. So if we were to just oppose, I'll say, yes, the assertive person has a little bit of the passive and, of course, the aggressive. How? The aggressive is opinionated too, and of course they're very firm about what it is they think about situations, which is also a quality the assertive person possesses. But however, the passive communicator is someone who is thinking about the other person all the time. They think about, it's all about others. They don't think about themselves. They don't prioritize themselves, which is also a quality the assertive person as. So it's like it's a mix of the two. For the aggressive person is the aggressive person, they're opinionated. The passive communicator and the assertive communicator are both on the extremes. They're just the extreme of the other, basically. And then you have the passive aggressive and the assertive person in between. So yeah, those are the 4 communication styles. Like I said, please don't forget, we have the passive, we have the aggressive, we have the passive aggressive, and we have the assertive communication styles for them. And on that note, I like to say, I believe you have colleagues. Try and figure out their communication style. You'll be surprised. You're surrounded with maybe plenty aggressives, plenty passives, plenty passive aggressives, or probably assertives, but you just have a mix of them. Trust me, as I'm doing this video, I'm really thinking about some certain individuals. But of course, I'll share the names. However, on this note, we've come to the end of this week's video. I look forward to next week's video, which would also go into details about how you can actually communicate well with each of these personalities. I don't use the word personalities, but communicators. I think that's better. Yes, and I'd like to say, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, but ultimately subscribe. See you next week. Bye.